Hey, it's Wednesday night, and that means it's time for a Rebel Wrap-Up. I'm your host, BKP. You're watching FYNTV.com. It's that simple. Tell your friends to click on FYNTV.com. Every Wednesday night at 7, Rebel Wrap-Up. We're at Circuit World here in Blue Ridge, right here in Blue Ridge, Circuit World. We want to thank Blue Jeans Pizza right over here in downtown. Blue Jeans Pizza for providing the meal tonight for the coaches, and also Pepsi for providing drinks. I'm here with head coach Jim Pavo and offensive coordinator Justin Pierce. I am not Joe Buck, and yes, if you're with me, I have to go home and listen to Joe Buck call the World Series, so I'm sorry, I just had to say it. Can't they get somebody else? Anyhow, I know I said that out loud. 3A Region 7 football. Let me go over that before we get started here with the coach. 3A Region 7 football. And here's how the standings are in the region. Greater Atlanta Christian is 5-0. Dawson is 4-0. Lumpkin is 2-2. Union is 2-2. North Hall is 2-3. East Hall 0-4. Fannin 0-4 in the region this past week's games. Dawson was over East Hall 38-24. GAC was over North Hall 42-14. And that leads us to our game tonight. Lumpkin 63-37, and I guess I cringe to have to say that, Coach, but I guess you having to see the scoreboard is maybe worse than me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just we played well offensively. We scored 37 points and moved the ball really well. Defensively, we didn't play well at all. I mean, we didn't we gave it way too many big plays, and that's. If you watch a film, where we get a stop on a play, and then all of a sudden we give up a 50-yard run, and it was just a lot of missed assignments. It was like we had way more than we've had in any game this year, and we just we played poorly, and no excuses. It's we coached poorly, we played poorly, we were just really disappointed in our efforts.
Coach, this is the game that and Coach Pierce and I'm going to ask some of these things and I think you understand as respectfully as I can, but the reality is at the end of the night that's 684 yards.
Yeah, you're not telling me anything I don't know on that.
I understand that, but this was the game. Now you and I have been together for 3 years, Coach Pierce. I know you came in last year, but you and I have been together for 3 years. Since you came to the program and you installed what you're running today. Mm-hmm. You said on this show when asked, you've said throughout the 3 years that this was it. This was the team that had been developed over the 3 years, running the system, had the seniors early on in the year. We talked about the best linebacking core since you'd been here. Okay. What happened season-wise? Can we go into that? I mean, I know we got a game.
We've had some injuries. I mean, right now we've got 6 starters on defense that aren't starting. But the next guys have got to step up and play. And we're not tackling well right now. And it really doesn't make a difference what defense you're playing. If you don't tackle it, it doesn't make a difference. And we're missing assignments. We're not filling our proper gaps that we're supposed to. And again, it doesn't really make a difference what you're doing. If you got 2 guys in one gap and you got 2 guys in a B gap and nobody in the C gap, they're going to torch you. And so we're not playing well right now defensively. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And we're working on it as a coaching staff, and the players are working on it. But we've got to get some kids healthy, which we're running out of time to get them healthy. But it's one of those things where it is what it is right now. We're not really good on defense right now.
Coach Pierce, you're putting 37 on the board Friday night. You're putting that on the board. In the first half, you do come out, and you've got 13 in the second quarter, 8 in the first. So you've got 21 in the first half, but you're already down, 42. With the defense not playing well, and that's just all there is to it, not playing well, and they've already, 6 touchdowns in the first half. How are you adjusting your offense, and how are you trying to get something to happen when you're up against these kind of deficits point wise. I mean, you're putting 37 on the board.
Yeah, no, I mean, in that situation, I mean, we've just got, I mean, the way we think about it is, I mean, no matter what is really going on, we're trying to score one more than they do. I mean, if you win 3-2, you win, 64-63, it doesn't really matter. But our guys did, I mean, offensively, we were just trying to make sure that they were still playing, and they were. We had some opportunities. We actually had 2 opportunities in the first half that we could have scored more, and I think it would have been a little bit closer. We missed a 4th down there. We threw one up to Jacob Reese, and we didn't get that play. And then we had another opportunity, and then to start the third quarter, we drive the ball all the way down the field, and we fumbled on the 3-yard line. So, I mean, that was a lot of points right there that could have – I mean, it still could have just been right there in a tight ball game. You just never know. I mean, if it's 42-41, they've got a lot more pressure on them, and all it takes is one play. So, I mean, it's at this point, it's the way it is, and we're just going to continue to play.
Coach, you said you had 6 starters on defense that were out. Am I hearing there's not enough depth on the defense this year to replace 6? It just wasn't
this
there.
Classification, in AAA or any high school level. I mean, you're normally your first, and there's a big difference between 1 and 2. And what we're starting to have to do a little bit is take a guy like Jacob Reese over from offense, and he's playing pretty much full-time on defense and full-time on offense. And, of course, that takes away from his ability there. And then, we've got our running back hurt. He's been hurt for a while, and that takes Hunter Gray, who's a Mike linebacker, and now that takes him over to offense, and now he's playing offense. And now that's affecting his defensive play because he's playing, 110 plays instead of 65 or 70 plays, And so we're just, kind of thin right now. But, that's not excuses. That's just that's the way it is. And, we've got to learn. We've got to deal with it. There's other teams that have injuries right now, and they're figuring out a way to win. And we just got to figure out a way to win. Well,
you are you're in one of probably the toughest regions I have seen throughout the state. In this 3A Region 7 is a tough region. Every Friday night's good football teams that you're playing. You're not playing a bad football team. I mean, although I watched, I was able to be at the East Hall, Union game. I watched East Hall, and East Hall may be 0-4 in the region, but they were down to the end of the game before they had that loss. I mean, they're fast.
They've got a lot of athletes. We were talking about them today.
But that's 2 weeks from now. But so what I'm saying is, there's not a bad team in this region. There's not a give-me game, and that's not fair to say. We were talking about
that today. That East Hall is, skill-wise, is as good as anybody we play almost, and they're a little thin in the line positions, offensive, defensive line.
Well, I want to ask you. Because this is a night where we don't have any of the players with us tonight, and I want to get drilled down more into you and the coaching staff, the defensive side. Are there things in the staff, not just the players? Now, don't take this wrong, but we're talking about the players. We're talking about 6 injuries on defense. We're talking about. And obviously, you don't want to maybe discuss some things, but is there some things on the sideline also with coaching staff or whatever you got to look at? No, I mean
the guys that right now it's we're coaching staff wise, they're working hard, and they're coaching the kids up. They're working in practice, coaching them up. They're on our film meetings on Sundays and breakdowns. They're doing their job there, and they're during the games where. During the games, they're doing a good job as far as coaching the kids up and trying to make adjustments and trying to keep positive, but get them motivated. Also, at the same time, it's fine balance between motivate and positive. But they're doing a good job. Again, it's just we're even in some positions where we're moving guys. It's it may not always be ability; it may just be experience. And now they're not sure what to do because they've only been playing that position for, we put a kid in last week that was an outside linebacker 2 weeks ago. We put him in a safety. In 2 weeks, he's got to learn what we got to do to play safety, and so.
He goes from outside linebacker and he goes to safety, and then you have to yell, stay home, and he's like,
right.
But
I don't know where
But-
home is.
No, I'm supposed to be. They said I'm playing tonight. I'm just joking.
And he's a young player,
Yeah,
and
right.
and of course you're going to give up big plays when all of a sudden you have young players on the field that are kind of a little bit out of position, but they're giving you their best effort, and that's all you can ask them to do. It's high school football. It's not the NFL where you can say, well, hey, we got 4 or 5 guys injured. What we got on waivers? We got to find the kids that are on the team and make adjustments with them and change some positions for some kids. And we had, Chris Corneo, a senior, he'd worked all week at defensive end, and all of a sudden we had to put him at outside linebacker because Jacob was he was exhausted.
Right.
Playing every play on offense, every play on defense, special teams, and all that. And so, Chris did come in, did a pretty good job. But again, we're asking kids to do things that sometimes are, above and beyond the, I don't want to say their abilities, but it's just above and beyond what you're gonna normally ask a high school kid to do.
We're going to take a brief break. I'm your host, BKP. You're watching Rebel Wrap Up every Wednesday night from Circuit World here in Blue Ridge. Want to thank also Blue Jeans Pizza for providing the meal. We're going to be back right after these messages. We're going to be talking about the upcoming game Friday night. The Union Panthers will be traveling down here, so we're going to talk about that game. They got a pretty high-powered offense also up there in Union. So this defense is going to have to take on another team Friday night. We're going to talk to Coach about that back after these messages.
Pizza Hut makes the best pizza in the entire universe, but they won't tell you that. I've been marooned on this planet for a while now. You are an impressive race. Your children know excellent hiding places. Your oceans aren't filled with lava. And you figured out how to combine a grilled cheese sandwich with a Pizza Hut pizza. Surely interstellar travel will soon follow. And then I can finally get back home. Round. Round like home. The grilled cheese stuffed crust pizza. Proof that no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East LJ. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
And we're back. I'm your host, BKP. You're watching Rebel Wrap Up every Wednesday night from Circuit World in Blue Ridge. Again, thank you very much to Blue Jeans Pizza. Always support the Fan and Rebels up here in Blue Ridge. And Pepsi, want to thank them. And I'm glad I'm right across the street from Ingles because I already got a text on something to go pick up at Ingles. I mean,
There
you
you go.
got to thank everybody
Maybe.
because they're right there. Coach Pavo, I'm here with Coach Pavo and Coach Pierce, offensive coordinator, Fannin Rebels. Let's get back to this. Let me go one more, a little further on team-wise in the season, and then we'll go into Union, Coach. Just to reiterate, we've been together, and you've been doing the show, and you've not missed an episode since we started. This is our third season. But I have watched, and you and I have talked. And when I say I understand these are high school kids, I understand anything can happen with a high school team. And in 3A, you don't have 7 receivers. Now I'm not upsetting any parents out there, but you don't have a talent level. Again, not upsetting anybody that one comes
No, you
off
go
the field
7
and another
deep,
goes.
no.
You don't go 7 deep.
No.
GAC goes 4 deep.
Yeah.
Okay. Other 3A schools 2 deep
Yeah.
if you're
I mean,
fortunate.
like folks,
okay?
the good folks who are playing it, yeah, they're a couple deep, and
But I will say you put it on yourself, not me, not the fans. You've said here on this show that, not to quote, but basically, we can't accept nothing less. I mean, this is the year we're supposed to do this,
Yeah.
according to the program. And mathematically, the season is over considering playoffs.
Well, the playoff scenario is out, but
That's
the
out.
season,
It's not over,
The
but
things
you
that we're trying to get through our kids, and we talked about it yesterday after practice, is that we still got a lot to play for. You're playing a team like Union, you're playing like we haven't beaten 2 years we've been here. The following week you're playing East Hall, we haven't beat them in the 2 years we've been here. And so there's a big difference between 4 and 6 and 2 and 8. So
Okay, well then let me ask you this. I don't mean to interrupt you, but you just rolled into something. That's what you have them playing for. There's a lot to play for. What about Coach Jim Pavo, third year, when you came to the school and you laid it out?
I'm still game to game. I mean, we've always talked about that. I'm a game to game guy, and we're going to play this game, and we're going to play the best we can. And then next week we'll play that game. We'll play the best we can. And then at the end of the season, we got to sit back and we evaluate what we do, what the positives and negatives, what are the things that happened, what went right, what went wrong, and evaluate all those things, in depth in the off season. Right now, we're evaluating what you're doing week to week, because you're sitting there and you're trying to figure out what can we do to get better, to play better. Who can we put on the field personnel wise, to play better? What can we do defensively to cut things back to be to where we're sound and not having missed assignments with some players, that are not traditionally playing. And so we're cutting back on some things we do, but at the same time not be so vanilla that, like I say, we've got good teams in this region. They'll just pick you apart.
Yes.
If you're playing one front and one coverage, the whole game. If you don't give them something else to look at, then they'll just eat you alive. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. You want to be vanilla enough to where your players are not having a lot of missed assignments, but not so vanilla that they're just eating you up, And so we've got to keep working on that balance. But of course, you hope now the kids that started last week, first-time starters last week, the last couple of weeks, will continue to get better and better, these next 2 weeks. And we got to get better fast because it's.
Coach Pierce, Union's Friday night coming to town. I've watched several of their games. I've gotten to know their players. That is the team. Every year on Team FYN Sports, I pick a team and highlight. Go check out a new team, and we picked Union this year at Team FYN Sports. Daniel Jones, which he's been on the sideline for the Fannin Rebels. I know the team that's coming to play you, and they had a bye week. And their defense plays 4 quarters. That I want to say. I've watched. They play 4 quarters no matter who they're playing, their defense. What are you seeing on offense that for the last couple weeks maybe hasn't been working that you've seen with Union that you have to do knowing you're playing a team that's going to come 4 quarters playing defense to the end of the game?
Yeah, for me, Union's always a fun one. I grew up playing Union County High School when I was in high school. Coach Allison was the coach there when, even when I was in high school playing against them. And, the other schools that I've been at, I've played against them. So Union's always been a fun one to play, and he does a great job over there. Those kids are playing hard, like you said. They're going to play all 4 quarters. Luckily for us, again, it kind of seems that way a lot of weeks, but they're a 3-4 defense, so they're real similar to what we do. So, there should be a whole lot of confusion with our kids, but I think for us, for us to be successful on offense and to continue to be successful we have to continue to run the football. The games that we struggled in, we haven't been able to run the football real well, which, then just turns it into where you have to throw the ball all the time. And that's just not something that we can do. We got to continue to be successful, running the football and use some of our big bodies that we have offensively. That is one of the things, we've been fortunate enough offensively not to take as many injuries. Our offensive line has been intact. Our tight end, Jacob Reese, has been intact with us the whole season. So we've got some bigger kids. So I think for us to be successful, what I'm looking at is I want us to be able to line up and be able to run the football.
Well, let me ask you this. I agree with what you're saying, because on the offense, what I have seen with the offense that you guys have in place for the last 3 years, your success is in a balance. When you all the way going back 2 years ago, when you get in the position you just start having to air it out, then your offensive scheme is off, because
it makes it tough. It makes it one-dimensional.
Right, you run a balance. You don't.
It makes it tough.
Some teams throw the ball up 100 yards and try to run it down your throat for 400. You guys run a balance of what you do. Coach, let's go to the defensive side. Are you healthy enough Friday night offensively? I know you're playing guys both sides of the ball. You start getting deeper with the injuries. You got to have some guys.
Offensively we are. We're still, at running back, we're still having to, use Hunter, and, we've actually used Reese some there. So, that's probably one of the spots where the depth, might be a little bit limited. But Cooper's coming back Friday night. We're hoping to, let him play Friday night. He practiced with us today and yesterday, and, he's looking like he's going to be able to go. So that's always good to add him back to the mix. Last week, Andrew Pavo got a lot of time for us on offense and did a really good job for us offensively. So, I think we will be. I think we'll be fine. Fingers crossed that nobody gets hurt, because, like I said, the depth is an issue. We're just kind of running out of people at this point. So,
what is the switching gears this week, Coach, after coming off that kind of loss and giving up close to 700 yards on the defensive side of the football? These guys from Union, Cole Wright, they had a bye week. He should be healthy. I do know he was limping pretty bad 2 weeks ago because of and I guess I can understand he's got 1,291 yards passing, and then Cole Wright has got 1,016 yards rushing, and they've got about 6 guys they go to in the air, and they got this kid Bo Lynch rushing. He's only rushed, when I say 572 yards. He's averaging 4.3, but he runs north and south, and I will say he is the kind of running back that falls forward. Mm-hmm. Is that guy you try to coach, fall forward and get a yard.
They're good on offense. The quarterback obviously is their best player, but they've got other good players, receivers. 22's good fullback, H-back type guy who gets out and catches the ball, and in number 5 there, he's a good running back, and they got a good offensive line that just kind of comes off the ball and locks on the folks, and they have a good scheme. They're really good screen. They run screens well, and they're real multiple in formations. They're going to be in 2 backs, 1 back, no backs, and we've got to be able to adjust to those different formations. And so we got to work cut out for us, but that's part of the deal. Like I say, you're in this region, you're not going to play a bad team to where you're just sitting there and say, well, we just show up and we're going to be okay. But our main thing is just keep focusing on us trying to get better, and that's all you can do. You've just got to continue to improve. Like I said, we had a really good practice today. Seniors really kind of stepped up today and did a good job of keeping enthusiastic practice. And again, tomorrow we'll have another one tomorrow, and go into Friday just with the guns blazing and see if we can't figure out a way to win this one.
What have you done this week in practice? You can get right in on this too, Coach Pierce. What have you done this week in practice to get them past where they're at in the season, get them past Friday night, and say that's over? I mean, these are high school. No, these are high school. Do you care to share with us?
Sure.
Well,
There were no cuss words, so I feel comfortable. But yeah, I mean, we're just kind of reality check. You know, guys, hey, we're planning on being pretty good this year, and we're staring down the barrel of being 2-8. You know, now you got to wake up on that one. You know, and we pretty much had a heart to heart just after practice yesterday that sometimes you just got to kind of rattle everybody's cage a little bit and get them to understand where the direction we're heading if we don't get the shit righted. And I think our guys responded well to it. Like I said, we had a great practice today. I mean, as good a practice as we've had.
Oh yeah, no, today's practice was great.
And all year. I mean, we've had a lot of good practices this year. I've really only felt we've had 2 or 3 poor practices this whole year, and and we've had a lot of really good practices. So our guys don't lack for effort, and that's not our issue as a football team. Effort, the players' effort is great. I don't have to, make any falsehoods up there about their effort. We've got great effort. We've got good kids. We talked a little bit, just kind of as far as after practice, as far as where do we want? I did the talking. They were listening, but it was one of those where
they listening intent?
Well, yeah, I guess so, because we had a really good practice today. So, I think it's one of those things where they're a little bit the older kids. They understand. Hey, we've had some kids hurt, but they're kind of still a little bit in shock too that we don't have a couple more wins. And
well, I for one, and I think this, and from the top down, from the coaching down, I mean, the way I run my business, coaching all the way down to the kids. Now, the players, I have always, Team FYN Sports, here or any other show we do, respect them as young men, but at the same time, tell them they have to own it.
Right.
They have to own it. I mean, there is no reason to walk around the fact. The fact is, lit up. They use them lights, and it's real bright. And to me, there's nothing worse than hearing that pop of the scoreboard go off, because you can hear that, right? You've been doing it for years, so you hear that pop. The scoreboard went off, and the last thing you've seen is you're on the losing side of that scoreboard, and you have to own it. When you get home, you have to own it. So I've always said that, and I think in your style. You've always let them know that also. They got to own where they're at.
Yeah, you do. I mean, because that's the only way you got a chance of fixing things. And even when you do own things, the kids try, and they still may not fix it. But at least if you face your situation, then you got an opportunity to improve, and you've got an opportunity to right the ship. If you just kind of keep and that kind of thing, then we'll never get better. And for us, our success is measured in wins and losses. My athletic director at times tell me, hey, just relax, but that's the way the kids and all our coaches, we've kind of measured our success in wins and losses, because we do ask our kids to put a lot of time in the winter and the summer and the spring practices and the summer workouts, in season. So it's not just about how many kids are coming out and playing and not quitting. For us, it's about wins and losses, because
it's about wins and losses, and it's kind of humorous because I don't think you met him, but I think you remember LT.
Mm-hmm.
And LT and I used to argue all the time, and he would be like, he would throw an NFL player out at me, and he'd say, "Mr. Pritchard, you don't consider this guy a good player?" And I would say, "LT, I'm busy. I have one question. Does he have a ring?" "No." "LT, leave me alone. When he gets a ring, come back." That would make him so mad. "Does he have a ring?" "Everything to you is a ring." He'll tell you he was for 5 years. Everything's a ring. If they don't have a ring. So I'll never forget. Who is it? Is it Tampa Bay? Who was it? Dilford? that played like
Trent Dilfer.
Dilfer.
finally got a ring, and he's really not a light up quarterback. He was just on the right
He was
team.
on the right team.
He was
and
on a great defensive team.
So I'll never forget. LT comes in one day and he says, "So you're going to tell me this quarterback is not as good as this quarterback?" And he named him. Are you going to tell me that? LT, who has the ring? Bottom line. Oh, that made him so mad. So wins and losses. Guys, we wish you well. Friday night, I do understand the what you're up against at this point of the season and what you're up against as far as the injuries. We wish you well with Union coming to town. Folks, that's it for us tonight on Rebel Wrap-Up from Circuit World at Blue Ridge here. Circuit World, come on in. Tell them FYN TV, Fetcher News sent you. BKP, they'll give you a discount here just because we sent you in Circuit World at Blue Ridge. Blue Jeans Pizza, go by and tell them how much you appreciate Blue Jeans Pizza supporting all Rebel, Fan and Rebel athletic programs up there. So many other things they support up there at Blue Jeans Pizza for the Fan and Rebels. Go by and thank them. And again, thank you to Pepsi. Don't forget, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m., I have a morning show, Good Morning from the Office, FYNTV.com. It's that simple. Click on there. I get a little opinionated from time to time, so it's got a warning. Be careful. I got a couple opinions if you click on FYN TV at 8 a.m. Again, real quick, I know we've ran over here, but I just want to say, don't forget this Friday night, Lumpkin will be taking on Dawson. East Hall will be taking on North Hall, and Union will be taking on Fannin. They'll be visiting here. That's at 7:30. Follow us on Twitter at Fetcher News, hashtag Team FYN Sports, hashtag Fan and Football. We'll see you next week. Go out and support these Rebels Friday night. Go support them at any time. Got it, Cole? We out here, Cole?